Welcome, ladies and gents. Chris Andre here. You can find me at BetBoxing on Twitter, or of course you can subscribe to the channel. Let's talk boxing. Let's talk about the big one. Potentially the final installment in a rivalry that has morphed into a vendetta. It has been a storyline embellished by a beautiful brutality and poetic pugilism, and in the eyes of some, a barbaric betrayal of sporting justice. But this Saturday, two modern-day great gladiators will write what could be the final chapter, the final grandstand finish, and ensure that the names of Saul Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Triple G Golovkin will forever be intertwined by a mythical silk threads in the minds of boxing fans the world over, as they etch their battles in the annals of time. But despite this being such a historic event where you have the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world against the unified middleweight champion of the world, most people aren't as excited about this fight as they were the first two, because they feel that Golovkin has aged. He's more vulnerable to the body, as was seen against Derevyanchenko and as was seen against Ryota Murata. He's 40 years old. Can he really keep up with this sharp shooting, counter punching pressure fighter who is still at the top of his game despite his defeat in his last fight? Most people don't feel that's the case, and I have to say that I also lean towards Canelo Alvarez based on that. Punch resistance can disappear overnight too, so I wouldn't be stunned if this was pretty brutal. Nonetheless, it's not necessarily a foregone conclusion, and if Gennady Golovkin is to win this fight, I believe he needs to do some key things. Those key things seem to have been referred to by Jonathan Banks, and we'll mention that in a moment. If you are interested in the sort of things that Canelo Alvarez does to go about his work, please feel free to check out any of the technical breakdown videos that I've done about Canelo in the past. Most recently, Canelo versus Bivol, why Bivol can win, technical breakdown and prediction. Although I did say that I felt that Bivol is all wrong for Canelo, and unless he would be robbed, he would win the fight. I also spoke about some fantastic things that Canelo Alvarez does and how he goes about his work. So if you're interested, check that out. This video, although it's a technical breakdown for this fight, is going to be more focused on some of the things maybe others aren't talking about, and that is how Golovkin goes about winning. And one of the key things that Jonathan Banks said in an interview is he's a complete fighter, and I'm trying to wake that guy up. In the amateurs and in the Olympics, he was boxing circles around guys. That's what G did the first time he just boxed him. I want the knockout 100%, but I don't want to need the knockout to win. I've told him you cannot expect victory if you back up the whole fight. I would love to keep it in the center of the ring, make it a boxing match, and let's see what happens. So what's Jonathan Banks talking about here when he's talking about keeping it in the center of the ring and boxing? Well, he's talking about what I believe Golovkin should indeed be doing if he wants to win this fight. So here is the technical breakdown of round 12 in their second fight, because that's the key round for me, which should show the blueprint to Golovkin of how he should approach this fight. So before we start breaking down this 12th round and talk about exactly what I think Jonathan Banks wants and why I believe it's the right approach, I also want to mention again the stance of Canelo Alvarez and how he enters the pocket. So you see how his weight is shifted onto that front foot. He will then lean his weight onto his back foot and then plod that right foot closer into the range of Golovkin. This is if he wants to walk him down, and then bring that body back forward. And so it's like a pendulum type swinging movement. And from that agility he has through the hips, he's able to make you fall short. He's baiting you to throw a big power shot. He wants you to overcommit. He wants you to really launch into the shot so that if you miss, you're then a sitting duck and you can't pull out quickly enough. If you're also in the midst of a combination, he likes to face hooks, because again, that back and forward movement can make a hook whiz in front of his face. Whereas if they're punches through the target, even if he leans back, he's not getting out of the way of them as easily. Now he's able to then come back with a shot of his own, but he's still not able to divert them as effectively and come at you again, because he is quite flat-footed, Canelo Alvarez. He's got amazing upper body movement, but his feet are a little bit flat. This is why Bivol, with a lot of straight punches and varying the length of those, sometimes short, sometimes long, was able to give him a whole host of problems. And the other thing we spoke about was the ability of Bivol, this was in the preview, to be able to come out quickly and come back in quickly. Just be on the edge of range to enable you to punish him if he then commits to a shot. So you can land your shots, draw him into shots, then you can throw your own big shots. In that regard, you can lure him into hooks. But otherwise, what you want to do is get quite low, if you can, get your upper body quite low, and change your levels and throw through the target, whether they're long straight punches or if they're wide shots, throw shovel hooks to the body or uppercuts. So it's almost like you're going diagonally, almost like you're going through the length of his leg, and you're going diagonally rather than just a whizzing shot that goes past his face if he pulls out the way. I hope I've explained that clearly. Let's start watching the round and you can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. A jab falls short there. The right hand comes in from Golovkin after that. You see how he's parried that upwards and he's cocked now for the uppercut. But Golovkin has realized this and he's going to land a very solid left hook to the jaw of Canelo Alvarez. And then that's going to make that uppercut sort of miss and just go across the chest of Gennady Golovkin, not land flush, because it's a big uppercut. And then he's going to land another jab just for good measure to stop him from resetting as he's exiting. Bang, and then another little jab there, another solid jab. It makes Canelo Alvarez fall short with his follow-up jab, then another jab from Golovkin. The next two jabs are parried by Canelo Alvarez, but you see how Golovkin is not running, he's not walking him down, he hasn't gone too forward, he's in the pocket. He's very wary of distance, but he's in the pocket and he's boxing. Makes Canelo fall twice short again, twice, and then lands a couple of jabs of his own. Another jab there is blocked from Canelo Alvarez, and then Canelo lands the first jab of the round for him. The fight continues, another jab gets through from Golovkin. Now that is a beautiful moment, and I just want to rewind that slightly just to show you guys. You see how Canelo Alvarez feinted as though he was going to go for a hook to the body. He used this misdirection there, and it causes Golovkin to dip to the side, elbows tucked. He's looking essentially to cover up, to stop a hook coming to the body. He'll get a little bit lower. It will also smother it because he's moving into that hook. But watch what Golovkin does. Rather than come up with a big hook of his own, where Canelo's going to be able to shift his weight backwards, just slight pullback, and then come back with a big counter of his own, he's going to shoot an uppercut through that line that we were talking about, land a big uppercut, then he's going to pivot out to his own right-hand side, taking away the potential counter from Canelo Alvarez. You ready for this? He gets a bit lower there to ensure that that was part of the trajectory of blocking off the potential hook that was coming. Bang with the uppercut, pivots to the side, another jab on his exit, parries the jab from Canelo Alvarez, so that doesn't land. He lands another jab of his own, makes the jab miss again from Canelo, and then comes close to smother. Canelo did land a push jab on the exit of Gennady Golovkin there, but this is beautiful boxing from Gennady Golovkin. He's schooling him really right now. This is a very one-sided opening to the round, and he's boxing. Short right hand there from Canelo. He rides at Golovkin, but it does land. It is a scoring shot. He slips the jab there, just slowed it down slightly here so you can see things more clearly, see how they're going to occur. This is what Canelo Alvarez likes to have. He's a counter-punching pressure fighter. He puts his feet into range. He makes you make your move. He slips, and he's going to come back with big, powerful punches. Golovkin, fully aware of this, is already protected here. The hook comes in, he catches it on the arm, the right hook's going to come in, catches it on the arm again, no scoring shots. He pulls back slightly with the jab and makes it fall short. And you know how people say there's no special effects with Golovkin? He's far too upright. I want you to be looking out for the upper body movement and the defense. The big right hand's come in by now. He ducks behind it, rolls off the shoulder, and none of that landed from Canelo Alvarez. Canelo has tried to turn him to square up, to bring in a big left hook to the body. He's already dipped his body to that side to smother any power coming from it. He shakes his head, tells him, you didn't land anything on me. Big right hand now from Canelo, a lead right hand. Again, and changing the levels, makes the right hand miss. The left hook goes behind the head of Canelo Alvarez. Then a right hand to the body, misses, and Canelo falls on the floor. He hasn't landed anything in this aggressive burst. He is getting schooled. This is a round that went to Canelo Alvarez, by the way, right? But if this is being scored fairly, Gennady Golovkin is putting on a clinic. They re-engage. Golovkin is quite solid. He ducks forward because he realizes that it's going to be a hook either upstairs, so he can tuck his head so it falls behind the ear, or downstairs where he's tucked his elbows. It's upstairs, it goes behind the head, it doesn't land. Nice little right uppercut there to the body from Canelo Alvarez in the pocket. That was a good shot. Golovkin just uses a couple of jabs just to get out of there, nothing major. Another slip there from Canelo with the jab. Then he comes in with the right hand. No one lands anything there. There's nothing major there. Continue to box on. That first jab misses from Golovkin. The second jab slightly gets through. The right uppercut only really clipped him, seemingly. It didn't land, not scoring shot. The left jab then misses from Golovkin. Maybe he's getting a little bit too greedy here. He gets clipped with the jab. Let's slow this down again here because there are going to be a few exchanges up close. Nothing seemed to land there. They exchanged straight hands that both missed. They were throwing hooks at each other. These seem to be all missing. They're missing each other. Now that right uppercut did land, at least partially. It seemed like maybe it hit the shoulder. There it goes. So you can see his full face. It looks like it hits his shoulder. Probably not a scoring shot in that regard. But it came from an error of Golovkin's because he was too far out from Canelo Alvarez. He was changing levels, and you know that when he coils down, he's particularly dangerous. And for the same reasons before, I was saying lure him in. If you're going to get him to commit, take half a step back and lure him in. Golovkin wasn't in that frame of mind. He was looking to exchange without getting close enough. If you're going to exchange with Canelo Alvarez, you have to target the body. If you're going to be targeting the head like he was, and you're having these exchanges of I'm going to throw one, you're going to throw one, you have to be coming off the line. Instead, he's crossed his feet and he's just stayed on the line. And yes, he's ducked forward, but there's too much gap between them, so he's not even close enough to smother. So this is the sort of thing that I'm talking about where Golovkin needs to avoid. But the fight carries on. An attempted jab from Golovkin is blocked. An attempted jab from Canelo is blocked, but the right hand lands flush. The first real moment there that I could say Canelo in this round has properly won an exchange, and then he eats a right hand of his own in return. Just clipped, but he then lands the uppercut too. So Canelo's getting the better of it now for this 5-second period. They start to exchange again, and as Canelo tried to jump in there, he got caught with a very stiff jab. It knocks the head back, as you can see there, which affects the construct and the balance, which makes it harder to come straight in with the second phase of attack because you have to reset. So lovely stuff from Golovkin. Another lead right hand there that lands. Couple of short shots from Canelo. The left hook definitely didn't land. We can't really see from this angle if the uppercut got through or not. He then throws a right hand, which seems to glance on the face of Golovkin, not a serious shot. Couple of jabs there from Golovkin don't land. There's nothing on them. Jab there from Canelo Alvarez, falls short. Lead right hand from Golovkin also didn't really affect him, just glanced on the forehead there, not really a scoring punch. He covers up well there to take away the uppercut. It lands on the forearms. So they're not really landing on each other at all at this moment. The defense from both guys is excellent. They're both changing the levels, both slipping side to side. Short right hand there from Golovkin does get through. Another lovely uppercut. And as he lands that uppercut, you see how he falls away to the right again. So he's fallen over the shoulder, the left shoulder of Canelo. And by doing that, he's essentially moving away slightly from the potential right hand that's coming through. But he's also pinning the left arm of Canelo Alvarez. So by putting his chin on the side of his head, there's no trajectory for the right hand to come to the head, and the left arm is taken out of bounds. Lovely stuff from Gennady Golovkin. He is outboxing Canelo Alvarez here. Canelo's not able to land anything flush, and Golovkin's having some serious moments, and he's finding a consistent home for the jab. And even when they're both missing in exchanges, because their defense is excellent, as you can see here, that left hook goes above the head of Canelo. Canelo comes back with a hook that lands on the gloves of Golovkin. He parries the right hand of Golovkin. They're constantly missing each other. He threw that short right hand, Canelo, which didn't land. It landed on the gloves. Canelo then slips past the hook. That is the danger area that I was speaking about when you're throwing hooks with Canelo Alvarez. From this position, this is where Golovkin should have shot a shovel hook to the body or an uppercut instead of coming up with a hook. This is where Canelo is dangerous. He likes this because he can slip away like that and then punish you for it. Now, he wasn't able to punish him there because Golovkin did what Devin Haney was able to do to Kambosos an awful lot. And when he fell short, he came low, changed the level, and then stepped under the lead arm of Canelo Alvarez and entered the pocket essentially to tie him up. You see that? So Golovkin was able to survive the error he made because he fixed it defensively. But ultimately, you don't want to be in that position where there's a little bit of space between you. You're throwing heavy leather at each other and you're starting to throw wide hooks. Don't do that. Punch through the target, past the target in straight lines or through shovel hooks and uppercuts. That way, if he pulls back, you're still landing on the body. Now they continue. Short jab from Golovkin misses. See that little right uppercut there from Golovkin? In that sort of scenario, Canelo can't pull away. There, it doesn't actually land. It comes off the gloves. But the point is he's not pulling away and then countering. He has to throw another short uppercut of his own, which again, you can't really tell. Does it land? Maybe he dug it to the body there. There's nothing really on it. And in fact, as they exit, you would have to say that the hand positioning of Golovkin would suggest that nothing really landed effectively. He seems to have his hand pretty pinned there. They're rolling with the arms. They disengage. Nice jab from Golovkin. Steps away, gets on his toes to get away from the ropes. This is another thing, by the way, when a lot of people used to say, Canelo Alvarez was walking him down. Not one time did Canelo Alvarez manage to get Golovkin's back onto the ropes. Golovkin is in complete control of the movement and where the fight's taking place in this particular fight. Now, yes, Canelo's not backing up, but this idea, this narrative that he was walking him down, it's just not true. Lovely little lead left hook there. And if you notice, the reason he got away with it, unlike before where it's in the middle of an exchange, watch Canelo as he's trying to enter. So he's quite upright. You can sort of tell from this position that his legs are almost narrow. You see that? Just as he moved forward and his left hand came away, that's when the short left hook came. And it was a short left hook. So in those scenarios where there's short left hooks inside the arc of a potential hook that could come back his way, it's okay to throw it. The slapping hook then comes back from Canelo. It's the inner part of the glove. It's not really a punch. He then misses the right hand, Golovkin, and Canelo seems to land an uppercut into the body. That's a nice little shot there from Canelo. But the big shot of the moment came from Golovkin with that short left hook. Golovkin missed the hook, but as you can see, as we spoke about earlier, about the importance of getting low and then throwing punches to the body and through the center line via that low position, it also enables him to defend against the hooking of Canelo. You can see here how he tightens up again and again leans towards the right hand of Canelo and catches it while his arm is still completely straight. So the bicep stroke shoulder of Golovkin hits the inner wrist or forearm of Canelo Alvarez, which smothers the shot and takes the power away. So it's great defensive work here, blocking the shot. Nice little slapping left hook from Canelo Alvarez there. The right hand misses, but you see how the constant level change in an upper body movement of Golovkin? This idea that he's got no special effects, he's straight up and down fighter, he's, basic, that's not true at all. The movement there, the defense, he's making Canelo miss so many shots and he's boxing him inside the pocket. They disengage. Nice jab from Golovkin. They come together. Then a right hand which seems to go around the back of the ear, and then a little right uppercut into the body. Golovkin responds with a little uppercut of his own. Golovkin misses the hook. Canelo misses the uppercut. Short jab from Golovkin misses, and again, that's the area. The minute you miss against Canelo, you're at your most vulnerable, and immediately he covers up and he changes the level. He changes the angle. There's not much there for Canelo Alvarez to aim at with the right hand, so he just punches through the target onto the top of the forehead. But this is what I'm talking about how you have to be in range to punish Canelo the minute he lets go of his shot, because when he lets go of his big shot, he's overloading so much it requires a moment for a reset. You see how he's now not really on balance. He needs a reset, and what does Golovkin do? Lands a short right hand of his own. So he ensures that he doesn't lose the exchange. You landed a short right hand, I'm going to land one back. He leads there with a straight shot, Golovkin, that lands. Nice little uppercut there, and then a hook from Canelo Alvarez. Golovkin got a little bit lazy there with his own defense. Little right hand there after he misses a couple of jabs, nothing really on that. Missed jab again from Golovkin, another show of respect from the two men. Both of them missing uppercuts. So Golovkin, you see how he's exiting the pocket but staying close. All in the center of the ring. All boxing him. This is what Jonathan Banks seems to be talking about here that he wants to see. Right hand comes in from Canelo. This time it's Golovkin that will cover up, change the level, make Canelo miss. But again, he came up with a hook. You see that? Going back to what I was saying, I wouldn't want to see him do. There I would have wanted to have seen him come up with a shovel hook or a right hand to the body. Don't come with those over the top left hooks. He's going to make you miss time and again. And he throws a little slap there. Canelo Alvarez to basically punish Golovkin, teach him a bit of a lesson for making that error. As we enter the last moments of the fight, Canelo's going to walk him down and try and lead with a uppercut. Gennady Golovkin will throw a shorter uppercut with a shorter trajectory. It will land. He'll throw a short jab, which will land. He'll throw a longer jab, which will miss. Canelo will then throw a longer jab as Golovkin's exit, and that will also miss. So Golovkin's going to win this exchange in quite a catching manner. It's ready. There's the uppercut. There's the jab from Gennady Golovkin. There's the jab from Canelo, which misses, and he exits and he wins that exchange. Another attempted jab from Saul falls short. Canelo gets caught with another jab there, lands a jab of his own, short right hand from Gennady Golovkin, short right hand from Canelo, and it ends the fight with the final shot of the showdown, a nice short uppercut from Gennady Golovkin just to close out the show. I do not personally understand how people felt that Canelo Alvarez won this round. The first half of the round was clearly Gennady Golovkin's. The second half of the round, there was a lot of good defense from both guys. Both of them were missing a lot of shots, but ultimately Golovkin was outlanding him and landing the better quality stuff as well. So he edged the second half of the round and he won the first half of the round quite clearly. And he did it by being in the center of the ring, boxing Canelo, creating a circle within a circle, not allowing his back to be backed up onto the ropes, not running, just boxing within a circle. And if he can repeat that, despite what the judges did in the first fight by giving this to Canelo Alvarez, if he can repeat that, in reality at least, he can potentially do enough if his body can hold up to get the job done. And we know that if he's targeting the body in the way that I've said, because like I said, while I want to see what he's done in the 12th round, I want to see him go for the body a little bit more. Don't rise up with those big hooks to the head. Rise up with shovel hooks to the body. Target the body. We know that Canelo likes to take portions of rounds off. If you can get him tired enough, maybe then you can put your foot on the gas and then you can hurt him at that point. But initially, focus on your boxing, outland the guy, be the better technical fighter, because I do believe Gennady Golovkin is the better technical fighter. And I think he's shown it in these areas here. Canelo is a fantastic master of misdirection, brilliant punch variation, fantastic at setting traps. Canelo may have a more eye-catching style. He uses misdirection beautifully. He's perhaps got better, not perhaps, he does have better punch variation. He can catch you with powerful shots from any punch in any hand. Jabs, hooks, uppercuts, any varied shot he can come out with. He's very creative. His timing is excellent, possibly even better than Golovkin's, at least in terms of power punches. Golovkin's timing with his jab is the best you'll see. But in terms of power punches, so Canelo has a lot of advantages too, don't get me wrong. But holistically speaking, I just feel that Golovkin is better at the fundamentals, and you can see in this 12th round, he's got fantastic defense and upper body movement when he's switched on. If he's not just walking a guy down that he wants to get out of there and put on a big drama show, he's actually very, very capable defensively. And that's the sort of fight I want to see him do, but target the body a lot more and capitalize at key moments when Canelo potentially needs rounds off. Ultimately, though, I still stand by the idea that Father Time waits for no man, and he is the only undefeated fighter in the sport. And Gennady Golovkin at 40 years old, I just worry about that punch resistance. Not just to the body. Everybody's talking about how vulnerable he's looked to the body, and indeed that is the case. But even to the head, your punch resistance goes. And you never know what could come on any given night. He could just look old overnight. Let me know what you think, ladies and gents. I thank you for taking the time to watch. Please don't forget to hit a stiff jab on the like button, a right cross on the subscribe button, and an uppercut on the notifications button. Take care. God bless.